We are back doing arts and crafts. Making scissors. Get some scissors. I'm not taking
belly looks like this, you are not fat. You just have too much cortisol. That's because high cortisol levels can make your belly feel puffy and tight, even when you don't eat a lot. The problem is that cortisol basically tells your body to store fat right in your belly. Not just any fat, but visceral fat, the deep belly fat that pushes your stomach out and wraps around your organs. And here's the worst part. Visceral fat triggers inflammation, leaving you feeling bloated and sluggish all the time. That's why no matter how hard you work out, your dad bod just won't.
Stress had been withdrawn in the days leading up to her disappearance. The police immediately began canvassing the area, visiting her school, and interviewing friends and family members.
When someone goes missing, every minute counts. Margaret Summers, who's a paraprofessional at Brooklyn Middle School, knows this. That's why she's trying to get the word out about her student, 12-year-old Lori Reed.
I feel like after 14 days, there has to be at least one adult who has seen her or has an idea where she is gone.
Lori is considered a missing runaway and was last seen on June 3rd near the 1200 block of Continental Court, which is close to Okata Road and less than a mile away from Mission San Luis. Lori's Ferguson, pastor for New Birth Tabernacle of Praise in Brooklyn Heights, doesn't know Lori personally, but he says in his division it's important to help the community any way he can.
We ought to be a family, we ought to look for consistency in keeping safe and sound. I think it can be coming up on the churches as well in the neighborhood, because that's one way they're in the community, not just for spiritual growth, but also to be a voice.
Summers says Lori has run away before, but she's always been found within a few days.
I'm hoping that if nothing else, that Lori will come to the school. She knows she's safe there, she knows that people care about her there. And we're in summer school, so she can come there any day, Monday through Thursday.
Pastor Ferguson forwarded Lori's missing person bulletin to the Frontline Pastors Action Council, which is made up of about 26 pastors.
We're going to keep searching, we're going to keep making phone calls, we're going to keep putting our bullets tonight, we're going to keep doing the things we say and sound. So we have some type of result.
Summers says Lori's teachers and friends are concerned, and they're just hoping she'll come back.
If we can find Lori, we can hopefully find her mentor, so next time she faces struggles, she can talk to her mentor and not feel like she has to run away.
Get her message to Lori if she's watching.
Lori, you're a great spirit and a great kid, and there's nothing that you haven't done wrong enough. Just enough.
Brooklyn claimed that Lori might have run away to live with a man named Maurice Jones, who's the only man her mother had dated that she had ever liked. Brandon McConaughey claimed that Lori didn't establish contact with them at all. Neighbor Andrews claimed that he didn't see anything suspicious in the days leading up to her disappearance or the morning of it. Students at Griffin Middle School claimed that they had heard rumors that Lori had been killed and that her body had been found at the airport. Investigators believe that Lori, she was still alive, would attempt to establish communication with someone at some point. August of 2023, just a few months before her disappearance, Miranda posted a cryptic message on Facebook. It read, "My baby is gone," with a broken heart emoji. She quickly removed it. Detectives questioned her about it. She claimed that she met her daughter Lori was not with her, but that somewhere in her heart she knew she was already dead.
Although Andrew complied with the police and allowed violating message testing of his residence, he was still being treated as a suspect in Lori's disappearance. Investigators found it odd that he appeared unmoved when they told him that Lori might have been killed. They claim that despite his daughter having been missing for several months at this point, Andrew didn't seem too bothered by it. Miranda wasn't much help either and reportedly refused buccal swab testing 3 times before actually complying. The only reason why investigators ruled her out as a suspect was because they retrieved her cell phone records and established that she was in the Nashville area during the time that Lori was said to have gone missing. Meanwhile, cracks began appearing in Andrew's retelling of the sequence of events that night. Not only did police uncover that Andrew had called into work sick on May 27th and May 29th, but the geodata from his phone showed that he traveled as far as Jacksonville, Florida, around the time when Lori was said to have disappeared.
In February of 2024, nearly a whole year into Lori's disappearance, Andrew was called into the Tallahassee Police Department for an interview. When he didn't show up and wasn't responding to calls, Brooklyn was contacted. The police that Andrew appeared anxious a few days before the interview. He was also infuriated at the suggestion that he might have had something to do with his daughter's disappearance. Later that same day, Andrew reached out to the police saying that he would come to the station but would only do so with his lawyer present. In the interview, Andrew went over the sequence of events again. However, this time the investigators asked him more direct questions. They asked him if he had ever disciplined Lori. He said that he had, but only when it was deemed necessary. I also asked him to name any of her friends, and he couldn't do that. Then asked him why geodata from his phone placed him at Jacksonville International Airport around the same time as his disappearance. For that, Andrew claimed that he went there to drop off his friend named Tim Brown. And asked for Tim's information, such as his phone number, Andrew said that he didn't have that on him. He also seemed agitated when investigators questioned more information on how, when, why he took his friend to the airport that day. Police were never able to get any information from Andrew about Tim Brown. He even invited his brother Antoine to the police department. He claimed that he had never heard that name before. Still, he believed Andrew would never harm his daughter. He thoroughly believed that Lori was alive somewhere and that she had run away from home while Andrew was at work. He believed she was unhappy with how strict her father was and that she had a pattern of running away from home when things got hard for her.
What's the difference like that now? It's $10,000 a day. Here are three easy solutions you can start implementing. Number one, the first step back in your credit card debt is understanding how much debt you actually have and how long it can follow you around for if you only do one thing for a whole time. Minimum payments could literally keep you in debt for decades. $10,000 in debt can take anywhere from 14 to 26 years to pay off through your any payment minimums. And that's just $10,000. Number two, try to stop your debt with temporary debt. Start with minimum payments to stay current on all your cards. Then, if any additional payments you can afford, you put all of it in a small step to pay off. By paying off the small step first, you'll likely eliminate the most interest in the short amount of time. Then, work your way up, knocking out one debt at a time until you're debt free. Number three, and this one's a game changer. Anyone with $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loan may qualify for help from the debt relief. Getting started is easy, and the process has already helped over 500,000 people and counting. When I got the emails that you're not with us, and I get free, I still would like to do it. Without it, I think it would suffer. My relationship is much better. There is this higher stress. I'm Jeffrey. Find out what I was going to say. Look the list on this video can answer a few short questions. If you have $10,000 or more in debt, there's a good chance you'll qualify. So don't wait. Be sure to apply before next Friday. Go ahead and click that link. You'll be glad you did.
Also stood in support of Andrew, claiming that if there was one thing he knew for certain, that he would never hurt his daughter. Simone Robinson, who's Andrew's girlfriend at the time, had been away in Louisiana for military training. She claimed that she had first heard of Lori's disappearance sometime in mid-June when she was given phone access again. When questioned about the existence of Tim Brown, she claimed that Andrew did have a friend named Tim. She was eventually revealed to be a man named Tim Costa, who claimed he had never flown out of Jacksonville International Airport. And also revealed that there were old cell phones and laptops in the home, or he would sometimes use to play Roblox. Police asked Andrew to surrender those devices, which he refused. Eventually, they turned up at his house to make probable cause search warrant. They pulled the devices and his cause charges. He was reportedly laughing and making jokes before getting into a coworker's car while the police were inside. Bioluminescent tests were conducted on the Dodge Charger. Traces of blood were found around the front passenger seat and front passenger window.
The smoking gun came a few days later in March of 2024, and investigators were able to retrieve information from Andrew's seized devices that showed he made contact with an online travel agency. He purchased a one-way ticket to San Juan, Puerto Rico on June 2nd, 2023. He then traveled to Jacksonville where he retrieved the tickets. But he never made his flight and asked for a refund instead, which was denied. Police also believed it was strange that within a few months of Lori's disappearance, Andrew had moved homes and changed his cell phone number. They also couldn't get a direct answer from Andrew on what he did within the 2 days he called in sick from work. Tim Brown was obviously a fictional character he made up right there and then on the spot. Not to mention the one-way ticket to Puerto Rico. Andrew had also applied for a passport around the same time, despite not needing one to travel to Puerto Rico. What made investigators even more suspicious was that on the day of his scheduled flight, called 911 to report his daughter missing. Police then asked Wilfred to call Andrew when present. The investigators claimed that while Lori's grandmother repeatedly tried to direct the conversation toward the missing girl, Andrew would veer off and talk about his mental health struggles. For example, Brooklyn told him that she wanted to decorate Lori's bedroom in remembrance of her upcoming birthday that night. Andrew ignored the statement and went off on a tangent about how infuriated he was that police were treating him as a suspect in Lori's disappearance. Meanwhile, police were able to track Andrew's credit card usage to a pharmacy where he was believed to have purchased contraceptives in late May 2023. Now, as we mentioned previously, his girlfriend Simone was in Louisiana for military training, and he did not disclose information about any other women he was seeing at the same time.
Later that same month, police were able to extract information from an older iPhone and retrieved from Andrew's home during the February 2024 season. This cell phone, along with other devices, can be tracked through reset. However, experts were able to pull up data from the iPhone and included searches including Bad Neighborhood, Tallahassee, Florida, and Apalachicola National Forest dead body. During the search, the device viewed a Quora page, and the user asked the question, why would police stop looking for a missing child, saying that the goal of the search is based on where they are in the investigation? Wouldn't they still need to find the child? New data from the same phone showed that Andrew had traveled to Thomas County, Georgia in the early hours of June 1st, 2023. These travels were seen where they conducted searches all across the area, and even on private residences. On April 5th, 2025, the remains of a young woman were discovered in thick brush near where Andrew's cell phone had shown the location. Several bones of the same skeleton were located and submitted for DNA comparison. On April 11th, the results indicated the remains were indeed Lori. Investigators had enough evidence to arrest Andrew later that same day, including a 22-month-long investigation. He was formally charged with second-degree murder in connection with the death of his daughter. According to investigators at the Tallahassee Police Department, Lori's murder was intentional, but not premeditated. They believe that Andrew had gone into a fit of rage and had attacked his daughter. State Attorney Jack Campbell claimed that Andrew had killed Lori on June 1st, 2023, just a few days before calling 911 to report missing. State Attorney's office believed that Andrew had essayed his 12-year-old daughter and had killed her after impregnating her. They believe that Andrew had murdered the young girl and then buried her remains in Georgia the next day. Attorney Campbell also revealed that Andrew was being treated for an STD around the time that Lori disappeared. He claimed that Andrew had gone in to get treatment for some venereal disease, but that he would not allow doctors to examine him. This raised suspicion, but several investigators believe that perhaps he was looking to get medication to treat someone else.
Unfortunately, deal every year, where people do impregnate children and even their own children. If he had gotten her pregnant, if he had given her a venereal disease, those would be hard things to explain. Is there somebody who I feel is responsible for not catching it? No one else other than Andrew Wiley was responsible for what happened to Lori. Wiley was responsible for what happened to Lori Bay.
And Tallahassee Police Chief Lawrence Revel. The truth started coming together when they revisited Andrew and asked him to tell the story. He said, people that are telling the truth typically don't have problems retelling the truth. People who are telling lies really have a hard time keeping all of those straight.
First and foremost, that's the reward. Today is not a happy day. Today is a sad day in the sense that we did recover the remains of Mrs. 12-year-old Lori Page. I told you 2 years ago we would never do that. I told you 2 years ago we would find Lori and we would bring her home. I told you 2 years ago that we would find who did this and we would arrest them and bring them to justice. And today, I stand before you to tell you we have done just that. So we have recovered Lori Page and we have arrested the person responsible for this crime. After a comprehensive and exhaustive 22-month investigation into the disappearance of 12-year-old Lori Page, the Tallahassee Police Department has arrested her father, 36-year-old Andrew Wiley on the charges of second-degree murder. Since Lori's disappearance in June of 2023, detectives have received hundreds of leads, conducted interviews across multiple states, examined visual evidence, and searched extensively across North Florida and South Florida. The case evolved significantly over time, with key developments ultimately leading to Wiley's arrest. The following provides an overview of the timeline and events that followed. June 3rd, 2023. Lori Page was reported missing by her father, Andrew Wiley. And at that time, he claimed she left home with a backpack sometime in the night while he was at work. Summer of 2023 to early 2024, detectives pursued hundreds of leads across state lines. Lori was never located, and the story provided by Wiley begins to show inconsistencies. February 2nd, 2024, a phone was received from Wiley's residence. A forensic analysis uncovers questionable internet searches, including queries about remote areas with bodies of water in Alabama and Georgia. March 2024, more consistencies in Wiley's statements are identified, and new information about his relationship with Lori emerges. Detectives shift their focus more heavily towards Wiley. Early 2024, based on digital evidence, detectives began searching a remote, brush-covered area of Thomas County, Georgia. Known locally as the plantation, multiple searches were conducted but yield no success. April 5th, 2024.
I had it, but I broke it by accident. And I gotta use a knife.
The remains of process by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, again, like I said, 4 days, and positively identified as those of Lori Page. This case is deeply impacted our community. For nearly 2 years, Lori was buried in the same home her full life. While today's arrest will never bring her back, it does bring us one step closer to justice. This arrest is testament to CPU's unwavering commitment to solving violent crime and bringing justice to victims and their loved ones. Anyone with any further information in this case is urged to contact CPU at 850-391-4200. To remain anonymous, you can call Crime Solvers at 850-5746. Again, we extend our sincere gratitude to the many officers, community members, and partner agencies who supported this case. Your efforts help ensure the Lori Page story will never be forgotten.
Andrew maintained his innocence, claiming that the police had the wrong guy and that he would have never done anything to harm his own daughter. His brother Antoine set up a GoFundMe shortly after he was arrested. While the fundraiser was taken down as the platform doesn't condone raising funds for the defense of violent crimes, the original post sought to raise over $100,000 to uncover the untruths made by the Tallahassee Police Department and to bring the real person responsible for Lori's murder to justice. On June 20th, 2025, 2 years after Lori's disappearance, Andrew passed away at 5:36 p.m. while in Golden. According to the coroner's report, Andrew died of a pulmonary embolism that was brought on by natural causes. The Mayo Clinic defines a pulmonary embolism as a blood clot that blocks and stops blood flow to an artery in the lung.
Andrew Wiley began accused of killing his daughter, Lori Page, is dead after having a medical emergency. The Leon County Sheriff's Office confirmed his death late this evening. According to LCSO, staff moved Wiley to the medical unit and attended life-saving measures. They say the 36-year-old died a little after 5:30 this evening.
Unfortunately, this means the criminal case against him did not proceed to trial and was effectively closed. Prosecutors have stated they are confident in the evidence pointing to Andrew Wiley as the person responsible for Lori's death. Individual forensic data, suspicious behavior, and location tracking that placed him near the site where Lori was However, beyond the court conviction, the court cannot officially declare guilt. Lori's family will be left without the closure of a full proceeding. Authorities have indicated that unless new evidence emerges implicating another party, the case will remain inactive. Many community members felt a mix of sorrow and relief when news of the arrest after nearly 2 years of searching and grief. Candlelight vigil and public viewing ceremonies were held at the Catterley Amphitheater in Tallahassee, remembering Lori shortly after police found her arrest. The crowd received candles and bubbles as the song Human Nature by Michael Jackson played in the background, and concluded with a moment of silence for Lori. Margaret Summers, a staff member at Britain Middle School, who had spoken to family during the investigation, described the arrest as a sobering conclusion to the painful case, saying, "It's a dark, painful, dark, twisted tale that involves both shock and revelation. This is just the last one." Margaret claims she had met with Andrew during the search process and later reflected that his behavior had seemed off, even when she was offering him comfort.
He said at the beginning she was off to a runaway, and I think that initially based on that, the ball was dropped. But once people picked up the ball, they ran with it, and they ran with that ball all the way to the Northern Georgia.
So Louis Ferguson, a local community leader who helps coordinate searches and awareness efforts, expressed mixed feelings that the way she was found ought to be in our memories and the rest of our lives.
It's also my way to feel as well, because we have been looking for a long time. And
This is the most amazing garden steamer I've ever seen. It can flat iron. It can steam while hanging.
On January 9, 1987, was raised in Akron, Ohio by her mother Kimberly Biggs and her grandmother Madeline Biggs. She had short, dirty blonde hair and was described as a goofy, easygoing person and as having a smile that was as big as the world. According to her girlfriend Brittany Dunson, once you get to know her, she's the most bubbly, goofy person you would ever know. Her favorite thing was playing with her daughter. She was my girlfriend. We were looking at rings. We were about to be engaged. She was my everything, my life.
And sadly, the world isn't always kind to those who are. Growing up, Ashley was bullied in high school due to the fact she came to dress more on the masculine side and up until the start of the story and had primarily been dating Halloween. In 17, Ashley met Chad Cobb in a Roller Rink in 2003, a few years older than her. He graduated from high school 6 months earlier and served a brief stint. For whatever reason, he was discharged early, and we could not find any details as to why that might have happened. At first, the two were just friends, but as they spent more and more time together, they felt they needed something more than friendship, and soon became dating. 2005, just 2 years after they first met, Ashley gave birth to their daughter, whom we will refer to as G for her privacy. We are aware that she has been named by many other publications, but given that she was a minor at the time, has not spoken publicly since becoming an adult, we are choosing not to name her. Now, Chad's mother, Cindy Cobb, described how becoming a dad was Chad's shining moment. However, his relationship with Ashley did not last long. Cindy recalled, "I know that Ashley started seeing other people, other girls. She kind of bounced back and forth between being with Chad or being with girlfriend. However, as you'll soon learn, there was much more to the story than that." Parents initially agreed on a 50-50 arrangement. Later, Ashley enlisted in the Army and full custody of the boy with Chad. Parents also mutually agreed that once Ashley returned, his custody would revert to the previous arrangement.
Ashley's initial aspiration was to serve as Petroleum Supply Specialist or 92F. She briefly held that role after completing her training, but her asthma made it difficult for her to continue and she was forced to step away and she was likely discharged. 6 years after she first joined the Army, Ashley returned to her hometown of Akron trying to figure out her next moves. After returning from the Army, she met Brittany Dunson. According to Brittany, I met her at my aunt's house and it was a click. She laughed and I just knew. The two were inseparable from the moment they met. They later got engaged and were soon planning a wedding. After Chad, he also moved on with his life. In 2006, he met a woman named Erica Lyon on MySpace. Erica shared many things in common with Chad. They were both single parents, still young and figuring out their lives. In 2010, the couple married and went on to have 2 children together.
Even though Chad and Ashley seem to have moved on with their lives, there was still one undeniable connection between them, their daughter, Julie. After her time in the Army, Ashley wanted to regain custody. However, Chad was not ready to let go. Blamed Ashley for her absence in his life, as she hadn't seen her daughter in nearly 2 years. Ashley had been serving in the military during that time, and according to Ashley, when she tried to reach out after her discharge, Chad was unwilling to reach an agreement. In 2011, Ashley received a letter from the County Children's Services Board. The letter stated that federal authorities were looking into Judy's custody and were concerned she might not be safe around Chad. For Ashley, this was not surprising at all, as she had already seen Chad's violent side and even shared her fears with Brittany. Legal records also showed that Chad was arrested in 2005 and pled guilty to family violence against Ashley. Her family also reported that Ashley had been acting distant. When they did see her, she was covered in bruises. Last time Chad was violent towards Ashley was right before she left. Reportedly, he had given her arm to a habit. Remember we mentioned earlier that there would be more to the story with regard to Chad and Ashley's breakup? Well, this is it. Ashley had enough, walked away from Chad, and decided to enlist into the Army. Brittany later recalled that Ashley had a protection order against him because she was terrified of what he might do. We'll be back in just 1 minute. Please stick around for the following ad. It not only supports the channel, but it also supports charities in our area.
Remember last summer when I did this to my hair? It might have looked fun for a minute, but over time the bleaching left it feeling all dry and broken. That's why I'm glad that this week's episode has been brought to you by Kitsch. Kitsch's rice water protein shampoo and conditioner bars are formulated with high quality hair loving ingredients that aid the regeneration of hair and aid growth. Protein helps strengthen hair, reduce breakage, and improving texture. Even after just a few weeks of using Kitsch, I've noticed that my hair feels softer and looks less dull. And the rice butter helps repair my split ends. The bars are free of ingredients like phthalates, parabens, silicones, and sulfates. Their solid form helps reduce single-use plastic, so they're great for your hair and the environment, which is important to me.
Since I don't have a Cricut dampener, I gotta do it myself. That's why I need some scissors. That's what I was gonna go get.
What?
Scissors. But I can use these too.
In the bucket.
In the bucket.
Mouth bucket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it was. I'll go get it. Oh, let me fix this line real quick. But yeah, this is pretty cool, right? I'm doing it. And then I just gotta, I might have to just get a marker when I'm at the dollar store so it stops drying off. I'll just retrace it. It's gonna look pretty cool. And then I'm gonna put World 60, I have to write opposite, of course, because you gotta put it this way. So I'm gonna have to do the opposite. So I'm gonna have to use the mirror. World 69, Happy Halloween. Put it right there on the bottom, or top.
You even have people watching you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I got 2. Because it's early morning.
You want to tell people?
Well, I did have like 35 to 75 people earlier. This is my second take. I only started, this is only 30 minutes left. It takes about a good 40 till you get like hundreds. But yeah, not bad though, kind of cool, right? If I had like an actual cool carving thing, like a wood thing, I can get this knocked out. I would already have this like all the way up to here. And then I can do a castle and stuff like that. See, and look, you still got all this material that I didn't even use. Look at this. You got all of this.
finally kept her daughter back. She had strong arguments to the court, and the law was leaning in her favor. In October of 2011, a local magistrate officially awarded custody of Jean Ashley. Oddly enough, this decision was never brought to Chad's attention. Now, at the time, Jean was just a first grader. Chad went to pick up his daughter from school, only to find out that there was no daughter to be picked up. According to Cindy, Ashley had come to collect her child. She was accompanied by police officers, so she didn't recognize the new mother. Now, it should be noted that we found a series of legal documents that shed some light on the bitter custody battle between both Ashley and Chad. These documents were posted online by Chad's mother, Cindy Cobb. This is by no means meant to shame Ashley, but they are important things to note as to provide additional context about the custody battle. We'll have these on the screen as well as in the show notes if you're interested in looking at them. So, the document titled, What About Jean, goes on to outline the following. Chad alleged that Ashley had abandoned Jean until she was 6 years old, only to illegally take her from school under false pretenses. Jean was traumatized by the event due to the fact that she hadn't seen Ashley in years. And had no idea. At the time she received custody, Ashley was living with her girlfriend, Brittany Dunson, Brittany's mother, as well as Brittany's brother, who was a Tier 2 offender on the registry, who had a history of targeting young girls. In a magistrate's order dated 4/11/2012, Magistrate Burnett made the following bizarre rulings directed towards Ashley. Item 6 states that the parties were prohibited from applying temporary tattoos on Jean in locations deemed provocative, which included but not limited to her lower back and rib cage. Item 8 states that the parties were prohibited from disrobing or exposing Jean to nudity. Item 9 states that Jean was to have access to a cell phone at all times. It was not to be in possession of either Ashley or Brittany. During dinner or sleeping hours, the cell phone was to be placed in a central location and Chad was to be notified of said location. In a letter dated August 9, 2014, Erica penned a letter to the court alleging the following: that she did not want to go back to Ashley's home and Chad's legs.
Good morning. Good morning.
Young siblings were negatively affected by the older sister being released from her home.
Good morning
They were
indeed.
wrapped up in $60,000 in liquid bills fighting over his custody. In addition, Chad and Erica were concerned about some of the things that Brittany was posting to Facebook. In a post dated December 12, Brittany posted the following: sometimes kids need to be hit. Jean is so ungrateful sometimes. In a court transcript where Brittany is being interviewed, it's noted that she made Facebook posts which she keeps calling it MySpace, claiming that she and Ashley drink and shoot guns. And allegedly, she would post quoting Hank Williams referencing shooting someone, which Chad was concerned was about Jean. After her time in the Army, Ashley took on different jobs. One of those roles was working as a home maker, and she quickly became known for her warmth and dedication.
Oh, wow.
Though she eventually left that
It
position,
is
her clients never forgot
10:12
her.
here.
Her wife, whose late husband was cared for by Ashley for nearly a year, recalled, she was very kind.
I'm only 3 hours ahead of you.
Ashley enrolled at Stark State College, hoping to become a physical therapist. But chasing that ambition came with a heavy load of responsibility. To make sure she could provide for her daughter's future and keep herself afloat, she worked 2 jobs while studying. One was a janitor at Malone University, and the other was a part-time delivery driver for Domino's.
On the other hand, Chad and Erica had managed to regain this deep relationship, but for them, that simply wasn't enough. They were desperate to keep all 4 of their children under their roof. Furthermore, whenever Chad faced Ashley, he acted hostile towards her, as if he just wanted her to disappear. For the next few months, Chad and Erica made repeated calls to child welfare authorities, urging them to check on her. Each time the authorities visited, they found no
Man,
signs of
using
small
small scissors are really hard.
Becoming more obvious to those around him. According to Ashley's neighbor, Candace Andre, he's been here a few times trying to get the layout of the apartment, camped out in the parking lot, but always told her If I see something suspicious, I'll let you know. But by this point, Chad was growing impatient. And now the legal custody battle was going on. Now, his mother Cindy remembered his frustration, stating one of his last conversations with him was he was going to turn custody over. He didn't know what else to do.
The truth about Crawford, Civic, despite just
If the paper wasn't so thick.
I know, because I felt it.
Well, then, Lynn.
So what you have to do, first thing you need is call. Specifically,
I was going to turn custody over. He didn't know what else to do.
On the night of June 20th, 2012, Ashley was working her usual late-night shift at Domino's. At around 11:42 p.m., she received an order for a half pepperoni, half mushroom pizza to be delivered to 647 West Pacific Road. It was a female voice that placed the order. The address turned out to be a closed business with an empty parking lot near it. Even so, unusual delivery spots like this weren't entirely uncommon. Now, for example, just to prove this is not that weird, in my 20s, my friends and I were coming back from a concert, and our car broke down. It completely, not only broke down, but two of the tires just blew out. We did not have two spares on us. So while we waited at the side of the road, it was past midnight, we had Papa John's come over and deliver us a pizza in this empty parking lot beside the road. Ashley went for the pizza at around 11:59 p.m., but when she didn't return, her colleagues grew worried. The drop-off location wasn't far from the Domino's that she worked at, so the delay felt unusual. By 12:45 a.m., they contacted the police to file a missing persons report. When officers arrived, they quickly noticed signs of a struggle. Drag marks streaked across the pavement, and there were traces of Ashley's blood, showing that she had been ambushed and fought back. The police also noticed taser parts and some cash strewn about. But as for Ashley and her car, there were no signs of either. This immediately raised red flags to the police as they began their search for Ashley. Brittany reached out to the investigators, letting them know about the bitter custody battle between Ashley and Chad. With that, the police already had a potential suspect in mind.
By around 4:30 a.m., officers tracked down Chad's Lincoln Navigator that was parked in his grandparents' property. They found Erica and Uncle George from the car. It was discovered nearby in the woods, decked out with animals. He had already suspected that the police were coming for him. Later that morning, a passerby spotted Ashley's car abandoned in a cornfield in Waukesha, Ohio. Her body was located in the backseat with her arms, legs, and hands bound by industrial signs and ties. According to investigators, Erica said that Chad came home at around 1 a.m. and ordered her to pack the kids before they got to leave. The family drove to Chad's grandparents, where Chad got out of the car and told her to leave the house. Chad and Erica were taken into custody right away in question, but both insisted they had no idea what happened. Although their behavior clearly raised red flags, on solid evidence, police had no legal grounds to take them custody. At this point, detectives were desperate for clues that could link Chad to Ashley's murder, and sure enough, they did find one. Breakthrough came when they searched Chad's house and discovered a backpack filled with incriminating items. Several of them stained with blood. Swiftly charged the first 3 men. The Ohio law made him a candidate for the death penalty. Chad wanted to avoid that. During Don Mallard's sex statement, it was a tough case. This wasn't a case that we felt we could take to trial and well. Our number one goal was to avoid the death penalty. That was clear. We talked about the time when the government might want to execute Chad and how old his kids would be. I said, Chad, you need to be there for the kid. That was the driving force. I wanted to be some type of father, some type of positive influence for his children. We accepted a deal for life without the possibility of parole. So in February 2013, Chad pled guilty to all 10 charges against him, including aggravated murder, kidnapping, and robbery. Return, prosecutors agreed to drop the death penalty. And so then his children were a major factor in this story. Feared that if he lost his parental rights, his parents and grandparents would have no legal claim to them either. The possibility that the kids would come across the head.
But even though Chad was already behind bars, the case was far from over for investigators. Detective Michael Kitchen still had unanswered questions. Who was the woman that placed the order that Lord Action in? Was there anyone else besides Chad involved in the crime? When interviewed, Chad remained silent about anyone else's role, and responsible. But to Detective Hitchens, the silence spoke volumes. He already suspected Erica's involvement and believed Chad was protecting her by refusing to name her. Detectives also discovered that the call for Domino's had been placed using a burger phone. Records show that the phone was purchased at a local Walmart just days before the murder and was activated on the same day that Ashley was killed. When detectives pulled the surveillance footage, they saw Chad there with Erica and his children by his side.
Meanwhile, Detective Hitchens kept a close eye on Erica's Facebook activity and was stunned to find a post featuring a picture of O.J. Simpson with the caption, 99 Promise. Investigators made it painfully clear that Erica felt no remorse for Ashley's death whatsoever. What's even more surprising, Erica was pregnant once again. The father was not Chad, actually his best friend.
Damn.
Cindy described
The
it
best
as
friend.
unbelievable. Erica got together with Mike shortly after Chad went to jail. First, she told me she didn't know who it was, that she had just gotten drunk and picked up some guy. And then later on, we found out that, yeah, she'd been with Mike.
This is looking
They'd been
pretty
together
good.
for some time. She kind of wanted to stay married to Chad and just have Mike on the outside. And Chad was like, no, you're my wife, I'm not sharing you.
Watch what mangoes do to your love life.
Crystal boy number one, white banana. Half of a banana calories come from sugar and sugar that converts dough.
For my wife, I'm not sharing you. For Chad, he felt this was a devastating betrayal. He kept his mouth shut in prison, protecting Erica from further suspicion. Yet, the woman he had tried to protect was now with his best friend. But that wasn't the end of it. It has gotten even worse when Chad received a handwritten letter from his daughter in prison describing how Erica had treated her lately. According to Jean, she was my stepmom, and I did call her mom. She was physically and mentally abusive, and I was told not to tell anybody or else she would be worse. In her letter, he described the cruelty she endured to Erica. I can remember being locked in the cage one night, caught me saying your name and crying. She pinned me to the wall with a scream in my face, put me on the floor. She put her left knee on my stomach, her right on my throat, and her hand, one over the other, over my mouth. We recall that she thought Erica might kill her. Violence went way beyond physical assaults as well. We also revealed that Erica forced her to eat dog pieces, disguising it as being mixed in blueberry yogurt. She said I knew what it was, and screaming and yelling, and giving me options. According to Jean, Erica did so because she was jealous of the close relationship she had with her father. These words, she wanted him all to herself. This behavior didn't end there. Even after Ashley's death, Erica's hatred towards her lingered. For that Facebook post she made, wanting her lack of remorse, that wasn't clear enough. Chad's friend Mary Brink would later testify that Erica made no secret of her hatred for Ashley. They recounted that Erica defecated on when she was raped.
Did she ever talk about Ashley during your conversation?
She did talk about Ashley, actually a lot over the course of, our friendship and the time we had been friends and spent together. During the dinner conversation, it wasn't so much about Ashley in that conversation. But she had talked about it before. She didn't kind of express her hate for her. She had talked about, and I don't know how we could do this, but talked about how she had gotten into her email, her social media account, and she could see what Ashley was doing, what she was saying, what she knew, things like that.
Did she talk about after Ashley was murdered, anything she may have done in regards to Ashley?
She did say that after everything had happened, that she would visit Ashley's grave. And at one point, I know that she had said that she had defecated on her grave.
And why did she say she did this?
According to Cutoff, allegedly, Erica stated that this was, I quote, all the she put us through.
Nevertheless, the years of violence she endured combined with the humiliation of Erica carrying on an affair with Chad's best friend Mike inside the very home Chad had paid for, finally broke it. The betrayal was too much to ignore, and Chad could no longer remain silent. Feeling flustered and deceit, he chose to strike back. In 2017, Chad penned a letter to Detective Hitchens, saying he was ready to talk. The detective immediately suspected what was coming. Chad was about to implicate someone else in Ashley's murder. That person was none other than Erica. According to Chad, Erica had orchestrated the entire plan. She selected the location. She drove beside him during the ride back home, and he even suggested she was the one who secured the zip ties around Ashley. In Chad's version, Eric was not just an accomplice, but the whole mastermind. However, Chad's testimony alone wasn't nearly enough to bring Eric down. Authorities needed more than his word if they were ever going to hold him for accountability. And they got it with Cindy. On a cold spring night back in 2014, Cindy invited
Becoming
Eric
a
over
lot.
to her novel farm. Erica probably thought she could smooth things over with her and even get her to lean on Chad to stay quiet. But what Erica didn't realize was that she was walking straight into a trap. Cindy had taken a small recorder on the table among a bunch of other things. For the first hour and a half, it was nothing but small talk. But eventually, after 90 minutes, Erica slipped and opened up about the case.
Alright guys, I'm gonna go and get this stuff. We'll be back in arts and crafts in a little bit.